Welcome everybody to a Tabletop Junkie stream. I've got a new logo, a couple new things that are popping up. Of course, you guys can see that on my on my Discord avatar, my freaking YouTube channel. And I would, we are going to start, and we're going to start off with a few things. So this is going to be probably an underwhelming stream. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to come out and tell you the guys the truth as a disclaimer. This is going to be an underwhelming stream. I do apologize for that. I was planning to run Castles and Crusades tonight solo with Mythic, with of course Mythic, the Gamemaster tool emulator. I have fallen in love with that. Unfortunately, I have to break the spell. I have to actually break the spell on that. Very much, because just for the simple fact of I've allowed it to basically have me cast aside all my players, and I have not been in touch with them in quite some time. It is not something that I've wanted to do. It just sort of happened. But we are going to get back to regular streaming stuff. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about Mythic here. I've actually got a couple things that I do want to talk about. I do have all three of these books that I will be premiering here. One is Mythic Gamemaster Emulator, 2nd edition, the Adventure Crafter, and the Location Crafter. Let's talk about that for a minute. Was nice a bit when we did it for Call of Cthulhu, which we might actually do that this Friday. Sparta, we have we are going to talk about Mythic, but we are going to talk about a few things. Number one, I'm going to kind of bring you guys up to date with what's kind of going on with me. The stream will not be nearly as long as 2 hours. We will just be covering a few things, and I will not be boring you with the details. So we actually had, like I didn't personally, but I had Mrs. T, my co-star, who has been trying to get into this stuff with me. But I think she just likes it because she gets to spend time with me. And stuff like that, which is fine because we don't really get a lot of time together. Work has been very demanding, especially this year, and especially around this year. And now it's about to become even more demanding because we're getting ready for the holiday season. We've got Halloween coming up, which we don't really do much, which a lot of people don't do much for Halloween, but we also have Thanksgiving and Christmas. And this year, my family, personally, is trying to make sure that we all get around to everybody. And that's just like Jesus Christ. That's going to take, for me, I got a huge fucking family. That's going to take like a fucking week. So, yeah, go figure on that. Whole fucking week to see people every fucking day of my life. Plus, go work some odd hours doing a job. So, yeah, that's going to take a little bit. But, so, she ended up just having a health crisis and a surgery, which is why I have actually been gone the way that I have been. Plus that, and we've actually been losing a lot of internet in our area. Our IP provider, our internet provider, just actually wrapped up a huge thing with that. Our nodes in the area need to be replaced. Who knew, right? And I'm fighting a cold because I'm always outside. I never fucking, for some reason, my body's having a hard time regulating things. But that's probably coming with old age as well, because I'm actually 40. Or nearing 40. I won't tell you guys how old I really am. Well, Sparta, it's my mom's genes. Plus, it doesn't actually help. Plus, it also doesn't help that I actually have broken my nose. My nose has been broken more than once. So I think I think I might be fighting a cold, but I'm actually not. It's literally, my canals are collapsed. But it still makes it hard to bleed. It does bleed, but it makes it hard to breathe and whatnot. Plus, I also work in an environment with no cooling system whatsoever. So I'm always in a heated environment, and I'm always going into extreme warm to sometimes either the same weather or sometimes the extreme cold. Michigan sucks like that. But we won't be talking about that as well. Also, sleep regulation has not been perfect for me. I am an insomniac. A lot of people, you guys know this because I've actually been able to do multiple streams with that ability. I think finally my immune system is going, yeah, fuck you. You know what? No, you're gonna go downhill here. So yeah, a lot of issues on myself, but I've also been taking care of my family as well. A couple of my kids actually come up with some situations that I actually had to take care of, which is why I've not been able to stream a whole lot. My family has required my attention. But today, right now, for the first 10 minutes, I went on about my family. Now we're done with that. We're going to start going back to Castles and Crusades November, I think I said November 7th. Yes, that Friday we're going to make it strictly Castles and Crusades Day, and we're going to sail through that through the rest of the year, rejoining with Chronicles of Paramore. I'm actually going to break away from the GME for a little bit and go back to my normal scheduled stuff. We've also been having some issues on the channel with some of my groups of people, and we've actually finally just kind of calmed down a little bit, but I'm going to be reaching out to everyone individually and welcoming them back into the group and maybe forming my own Castles and Crusades group back again. I don't know if I really want to do as many people as I did before. That was kind of crazy, but we will see, and I will be bringing people probably in slowly to see how they all mesh in the group. We actually ended up having just some issues where people didn't agree with certain things, and it got to really be a big deal, and I don't really want to get into it. Like, if these people like want to say something, that's fine. I don't really want to put it out there. I think we can just keep it within my group, and that's all I'm willing to, that's as far as I'm willing for it to go. But we will be coming back strong. Anyway, that's the update for the channel. Let's talk about Mythic. Yep, straightened out. No more drama. Yep, basically, no more drama, because I like to remain this as a drama-free channel. Anyway, moving on. We just took 10 minutes of that up. Let's move on to Mythic, the Gamemaster emulator. I don't know really how I'm going to really do this. Like, I can go through a couple things with you guys regarding this. But this has been one of the biggest things for me is Mythic. I'm going to start off with my testimony. Yes, I know I made it sound like a religious thing when I say testimony, but if you're like that, I am sorry. But let's talk about Mythic a little bit, okay? When everyone kept pointing me to Mythic as a way to help improve my solo roleplay, which is made by Tana Pigeon. I hope to God I'm mentioning that right. I hope it's not Pigeon but I said pigeon. It's like a bird. Or Pigeon. Pigeon? Is pigeon with a P? I don't know. I hope I'm not butchering the name. Anyway, when I was told about Mythic, I was actually like, yeah, okay, I'm going to sit here and play with myself. Making the ejaculation, basically the jerking off motion with my hands. Like, yeah, okay. Like this was actually able to be pulled off. I was a non-believer. I am not going to lie. I hated everything Mythic. I thought it was stupid. I didn't even give it a chance. Shut up, Chris. Nobody cares about what you say. Don't pay attention to my friend Sparta Chris, who, by the way, let's actually take a minute and say happy birthday to Sparta Chris. He had a birthday 2 days ago. I did not get to celebrate it with him because, unfortunately, I had family things going on, and so did he, so we didn't get to spend his birthday together. But everyone, take a minute and say happy birthday, Sparta Chris, if you're in chat. If not, send him happy birthdays across Twitter. I will not link his Twitter account just in case there's some hateful people on here, but we are gonna say happy birthday to Sparta Chris. Actually, I'm not even gonna lie, his birthday sailed past me until Mrs. T said something, and I was like, holy fuck, I forgot. It's not that I forgot, it just was one of those things. I had a lot going on, so there we go. All right. Anyway, back to Mythic. Mythic is really kind of like, I'm going to get the physical book and I kind of really want to show it off. I do have the PDF. Mythic is actually kind of one of the very things that I've had a hard time trying to piece together, because when you first open the book and read it, it reminds me a lot of Beetlejuice, where everyone said the book reads like stereo instructions, and it did. So I actually had to do research about this, and I said, okay, I'm the type of guy that I'm not going to knock something if I haven't tried it. Like, hey, who likes beef and broccoli? Well, I don't like beef and broccoli. Beef and broccoli in the same bowl with some teriyaki sauce? Well, yuck. Who fucking likes that? I mean, teriyaki sauce is salty as shit, right? Well, here's the thing, guys. Have you ever had it? No. Then how can you knock it, right? So I'm like this guy who's like, okay, I'm gonna try it. And I think I actually got it for like less than $10 on DriveThruRPG for the PDF. And I said, okay, I'm gonna give this a try. And I got it, and I was like, wow, this is some bullshit. This is stupid as fuck. I don't understand what this is saying. It seems like kind of like Call of Cthulhu because it all runs off of percentages, and they do have tables. What does these tables mean? What does this mean? I go and read it, and I go, what? How do they do this from descriptors? What? I just don't get it. And literally, I read this book from cover to cover like 3 fucking times before I said, screw it, I'm going to look and see who did a stream with Mythic. So I went to the Grouch Couch. He kind of popped up, and he used Mythic, the Gamemaster tool emulator, with The Walking Dead. Now, I'm more of a all flesh must be eaten type of guy, but I do love zombies. Who the hell doesn't like zombies, right? I love zombies. You guys love zombies. I wish I had some music playing to this, because this would have been actually some kick-ass shit. Let me see if I can get some music in here real quick. Hang on one second. Because this is kind of like a revelation moment, but, you know. Let's see. I got some free source music here. Give me 1 second. Let's see. Dark City, Skyship, Adventure Supply. That's like the big tabletop audio stuff. I do have some of this I could use. Yeah, nothing that I'm going to really use. I just figured music would have been fine. So I stopped for a moment. Sorry, guys. I'm actually kind of hopped up on a lot of fucking coffee right now. Late at night, right? Alright, so anyway. And of course, now Mrs. T is going to ask me, when did I have coffee? Well, you know, I'm able to sneak stuff by. Anyway, so I actually get this, and I watched The Grouch Couch. And I said, man, I'm only going to watch 1 episode of this. And that's it. Like, I'm not going to get into this guy. He seems pretty cool. And he seems like he's awesome. And he's very charismatic in everything he does. And so anyway, I started watching, and I watched the first episode. I said, okay, 1 more. I watched the second episode, and I see how he does it. I see how he does the rules and whatnot. So what Mythic actually does is you take, like, so there's these things called fake questions. They are yes or no questions. Basically, you ask yourself yes or no questions on a solo level that Fate can answer, and then you roll the dice based on that. And there is something called the chaos factor, which actually lines up on a table. You align the chaos factor with the roll and how difficult the roll is. The difficulty actually ranges from highly likely and very much possible to impossible. But, you know, on really good rolls, you can probably get that. Anyway, like, let me see here. Let me go to one of the things for you guys. Fate chart. Here we go. Like, impossible, you could technically, with a chaos factor 5, you could technically get it if you roll under 10, and then if you roll under 2, that is an exceptional yes. If you roll over 10, it is a no, and if you roll over 83 or higher, it is an exceptional no. That is for a chaos factor 5 and impossible. A lot of times, a lot of my questions end up being 50-50. You guys can watch some of my previous videos to actually see how I do that. This is actually kind of like one of the amazing things that actually sold me on the system when I started seeing that. There is more than just that. There's also other charts that you would have to come into, such as the fate check modifiers and how the answers work if you're actually using a D10 and if you want to roll a random event or not. There is stuff like exceptional yes, yes, no, exceptional no, and random event. Random event is when doubles of a single digit or less has been rolled based on that. Like I said, it was very hard to actually get into because it read like stereo instructions. So then I went and saw the Grouch Couch, which I don't have his channel listed in the link yet. I don't have much listed in the description because this was kind of a surprise stream. I was actually going to originally show you guys how to use Mythic with Castles and Crusades. Unfortunately, I am a bit of an over-prepper with Castles and Crusades because I like to actually have extra material there for you guys for extra material there that I could need and not have to come up with on the fly. I'd like to show you guys how accurate or how good something is, as well as making sure I have enough material to cover at least a 2-hour stream. That has always been my thing, and that is what I do. So anyway, you have things like fate questions, scene alterations, which all is based on a percentile roll. It is crazy because when I actually got into this and I tried it for myself, I've literally got hooked because for once I'm able to be a player, and it can and the system does emulate as a kind of like a ghost Gamemaster there for you. And it's and we actually tested it out with my Call of Cthulhu video that I did with Sparta Chris and Tails, where it was a GM-less game, and we ran with a bunch of fate questions. Although it got a little kind of screwy with Tails there. I think he was kind of going off left field, and I kind of wanted him to pull it back a little bit, because the whole reason why campaigns and stuff was going, if you eat a bunch of sugar now and you will be hyper when he's coffee crashing. Yeah. Hey, JB, thank you for joining. It's, where was I going with this? It was kind of going off in the center left field, and, but we were able to pull it back some, and I actually I've used the fate question chart a lot. That's usually my favorite one, and I have, basically use the descriptors. There's a ton of tables in there, more than that. Like I said, I'm trying to save up money to get the physical copybook because I want to go through I want to piece this apart. But I'm gonna say this: when I did get into Mythic, I did my homework. The first thing I did before I bought the book was to see the reviews on it. I went to drive-thru and I went through the actual website that you can go through for Mythic. And literally, it has a perfect 5-star rating. I think it was like 300 reviews. People rated it 300 times. Okay, so there was 300 ratings on this. I think one or two was a 1-star. One or two was a 4-star. One or two was a 3-star. So like 6 of them was not a perfect 5. 294 of them was all 5 stars. And I was like, that's impossible. I went to another website and saw that, and I was like, okay, that too is also a 5-star rating. So I'm like, all right, let's check it out. I do recommend it. I do recommend also, reading it probably about 6 times. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, it is very dry material. But it does do exactly what people say. It does emulate as there is a Gamemaster there while you are the player. When my wife was going through her surgery, I actually took a notebook and I literally made a whole campaign adventure from scratch using Castles and Crusades itself. And literally just played for hours. Her surgery was, I think it was supposed to be only 2 hours long. It ended up being almost 6. There were some complications, but she made it through. But the whole time to keep my mind going, I literally used Mythic. It is a good source of relaxation, journaling, and it does get that tabletop itch that most of you guys would most tabletop gamers do want at certain times in their stages. For me, when sitting in a hospital room with nothing to do, I get antsy. When sitting still for long periods of time like that, 6 to 8 hours, barely eating, having very little to drink, I get a little antsy. So, I did make this. It actually relaxed me. People actually had to come in and touch me on the shoulder to make sure that I was okay. I would only leave a 5 review for a hotel if they had a room service from the Chris Farley skit. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, I wanted to check out some of the other sources. So, as far as Mythic goes, I definitely do recommend, for those who right now can't get with the group, I do recommend this. This will help relax you. It will definitely do exactly what it says. I don't know how else to explain it, but I am going to definitely do some more demonstration. This has been one of the most biggest things for me. And I've been waiting, and this is not an actual review as much as that. I want to sit down and do a real review on this, but the hardest part about that is how dry the material is. The material is very dry. It is very table-like. There is nothing but tables in there, and you have to be very, I have found answers, but it is very dry material. I'm not gonna lie, but it does deliver what it's supposed to deliver. The purpose that it was created for, it does deliver perfectly. It's very difficult. I have to literally. This is something I've had to take notes on, so I'm definitely gonna say it. I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5. Definitely, it is by far the most perfect system. And it's weird because I've seen more flavorful, more better textbooks than this, and they didn't even get a 5 out of me. The purpose was delivered. Sometimes the delivery was crappy. It get delivered flavor, but crappy. Somehow the delivery ended up being crappy. So I always would say, well, there's always room for improvement. I don't even know what else this person could improve on. I've literally been wrapping my brain around this for weeks now. I actually ended up buying this. When did I buy this? Let's see here. Let's see if I can pull up my receipt. I actually ended up buying this literally almost 2 months ago, and it's been one crazy ride after another. I definitely do recommend. I did pick up the Location Crafter, which is actually kind of cool. I'm a retired chef, and I wanted to open a restaurant with amazing food, but the staff is all rude as fuck. Basically, that's what this book was. Like, okay, the restaurant was not very appealing, right? So, like, you got this cover of this book. It looks appealing, but when you crack open to the first couple pages, it's not appealing. So, to put that in restaurant terms, it's like, you look at this restaurant, and it's like, oh my god, this restaurant does not look appealing at all. Well, let's go in and give it a try, because I want to try something new. You go in, and the food's fucking great. It delivers good food, good service, but it just doesn't have that appealing look. Do not judge this book by its cover. Really do not. And that's the cover right there. So the Adventure Crafter, I actually ended up getting that, and I actually went onto the Grouch Couch to see how he did it, and he explained it he literally explained it within 5 minutes, and I'm like, holy crap, like, I've read this book, and it's actually shorter, and the material is a lot less dry. So basically, it teaches you how you craft an adventure around one character, and then when you wanted to add in other NPCs, it actually instructs you how to bring that in, and it is really, really nice. It does actually kind of walk you through it a little bit better than the actual main book. The material is less dry and a little bit more flavorful, but it still falls in the line of, you do get some additional tables that actually go along with it. You get some seeds, you get some additional, just additional stuff, and it actually. And if you love the original core book, Mythic, the second edition, you're going to love the extended books, the supplements with it, such as the Adventure Crafter. Because when you put that in there, it just opens you up. It just opens it up so much more for you. I said opens you up. Boy, that sounds sexual as hell. Anyway, it actually just brings more to your game. I actually ended up crafting my Castles and Crusades game that I was going to show you guys tonight, but was not finished, actually around this. I've got a few tables made. I just got to craft 2 more tables out and some notes for that, and we'd be all set to go. Literally, I just fell short of it because I actually been super, super busy. I do recommend picking that. That book actually ended up getting a 4.8 on every site I went to. It literally, I think it was like 100 reviews, or no, it was like 90. Like, the Adventure Crafter only had 90 reviews, but like 2 of them was like 1 star, and that was it. The rest was 5. And I think there might have been 1 3 and 1 4. It's weird how I remember this, because these books, when I look at these books and I read them, yeah, they sound promising, but the covers did not seem so appealing. There is hardly any artwork in here. The biggest artwork is actually the covers there. So do not judge a book by the cover, because literally it is not what, like, if you think it looks great and you get into it, you're not going to like what you see. But once you actually understand better, you're going to end up falling in love with it. At least I did. If solo play is not really your thing, that's fine. It's not really my thing, but it ended up being my thing because I have not been able to meet regularly with my group. All right. I have went on for almost 30 minutes on this. The last thing I do want to touch on is the locations crafter, and that is exactly how you expect it to be, such as it has location placement, like what kind of biome is it in, such as is it in a desert, a forest, is it on another planet, what's the planet like. It has many different ways for you to set up not just a single location, but an entire world, an entire civilization. It is actually, I think that is actually the shortest book among the Adventure Crafter and the main core book itself. I do recommend picking these books up, but like I said, this is not an actual review. This is just a surprise stream for me to come back and go, hey, sorry that I've been gone so long, but here's why. Here's the update to my channel. Here's what I've been doing. Here's why I've been doing it. And I do recommend that. I will be putting the links to these books in my description at the end of this show. Which is right now. I just also wanted to give an update of what's going on, and to let you guys know I'm still here. I will be coming back regularly. Spartan Chris and I are going to be hooking up this Friday for more Call of Cthulhu, which is my the Call of Cthulhu game that we've been playing, has been the GM-less one. So we're going to play 3 more sessions of that, and then we will be coming back November 7th to Castles and Crusades. And I'm going to be doing, and we're going to pretty much wrap up the end of the year with that going forward. Also in November, we will be hooking up with, alright, so November 7th, oh god, I got to remember, because I'm also hooking up with Melee James and Melee K for a Star Wars D6 game. So we will definitely, I forgot you already, and you just said something. Funny, JB, funny. We'll be hooking up with Melee James and Kay for a Star Wars stream where I am going to put them in the Star Wars universe, and I've already made them characters, so they will love it. Well, anyway, that's all I have for right now. I hope you guys did enjoy this. I do apologize. This was more of an informative stream, but it wasn't supposed to be. Just things got sidetracked again. But hopefully, we will get things back on track and on the railroad track starting this Friday. So please, stay tuned, and remember to work hard, game hard, and play hard as always, because God knows I'm going to when I come back. And you guys have a great and wonderful night.